So for my talk, I'm going to be talking about making healthy eating easier. Because I know that on a practical day-to-day basis, it is something that we all struggle with. We all know that we should be eating healthier, but then we're out and about and we're late somewhere and we've been working all day, so we're tired. And instead of having the time and being in the right place to eat something healthy, we'll quickly pick up something that isn't healthy just to get through the day. So, making healthy eating easier. And what inspired me to have this talk was actually a TED Talk by a man called Luke Durward. And his TED Talk was called How to Make Healthy Eating Unbelievably Easy. So I'm just giving you the watered down version. If you want to hear his amazing talk about how to make it unbelievably easy, then you should go and check that out. But basically, he had a young brother who was eating very, very poorly and was gaining weight tremendously, and it pained him to see this, and he moved away to college, and he knew that his brother's eating habits were just going to continue along the same path, and he had an injury, and so he couldn't walk for some time. You know, he had crutches, and I think he broke his leg, so his leg was in a cast. He couldn't go to classes, and so he decided, well, in this 1 month, when I am incapacitated, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move back home, and I'm going to cook everything for my brother to eat. His diet is going to be based entirely on what I cook for him, which meant that his brother stopped eating cereal for breakfast, sugary sweets, and granola bars, and, microwave dinners, and hamburgers, and french fries, and all of these things, and sodas, all of these things that we eat because it's convenient, because it's easy. And all of a sudden, his brother, who had terrible eating habits, during this 1 month developed a taste for eating well and really changed his patterns of eating, and now has lost a lot of weight and is very healthy and now eats a very healthy diet. So realistically, we can't all have an older brother who comes and cooks for us for us full time. So that's why I can't say that I'm trying to make it unbelievably easy to eat healthier, but I do want to point out some things that hopefully will make it easier for all of us to eat healthy. So by eating fast food and processed things that come in a can, things that have been manufactured and prepared somewhere else and brought into our home, and we open the can or we unzip the bag and then we heat it up. All of these things that are fast foods, candy bars and potato chips, and we're introducing into our bodies substances that are toxic and increase the risk of cancer, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, allergies. So we need to be aware that fast food, processed food, all of these things that we eat because it's convenient, because we're in a hurry, they're introducing toxins into our body. It's not recommended. Also, we're depriving our body of the adequate nutrition, because these things, even though we think they're food, a lot of it is processed stuff that's not food. And so we feel full because we've eaten this big sandwich, but the truth is that those 2 pieces of bread on the outside had very little nutrition because it's been so processed. So we're feeling full, but we're depriving our body of what it really needs. We're wasting a lot of energy processing unnecessary food-like and nutrient-deficient substances. So I call them food-like because, again, a lot of this stuff that we're eating is not food. It's food-like substances. It's been so processed that all the nutrition is gone, and our body is anyway having to digest this, take it in, absorb it, process it, figure out that we don't need it. The liver has to clean our blood constantly, and then eventually we have to get rid of it. We're wasting a lot of energy in this process of digestion. The number one thing that uses energy in our body is our brain. It consumes a lot of energy. The number two thing that consumes most energy in our body is our digestive system. So if we're eating a lot of stuff that isn't good for us, we're wasting a lot of energy just in processing this stuff that we don't need. And by eating fast foods, we're supporting a food system that is bad for us and bad for the environment. So not only do we vote with our dollars, if we want meat that is full of antibiotics and hormones and toxins, well, let's go out and spend those dollars on bad meat, because then the industry figures out, well, we'll keep producing them, they're buying it. But if we want to buy good healthy meat and vegetables that are organic and fruits that are free of pesticides, then we have to put our money there to tell the industry that this is the product that we want. These are the things that we want to buy and consume. So that also, by eating fast food, we're supporting a system that is not good for us or the environment. So let's take just a quick minute and discuss the following question. We know smoking is bad for us. Why do people still smoke? And then we're going to look at how this applies to food. So take a minute and just discuss quickly, why do people still smoke? Let's gather together again. And I heard some very interesting things, and I think all of you are spot on. You know, there's many reasons people smoke. One is, I know it's bad for me, but those effects are long-term. I don't have to worry about lung cancer today. That's 40 years down the road. 40 years down the road, of course, they're regretting what they thought back then, but you know, when we're young, we feel invincible. A 17-year-old doesn't think about dying of lung cancer. It's cool, you know, if you are at a workplace and somebody says, oh, I'm going to take a smoke break, and you don't smoke, they all go out together and hang out together and smoke together, and you're kind of left out. So also peer pressure is a part of it. Some people say, well, it's a way to relax, you know, it's something to do to keep your hands and mouth busy, and it maybe calms down your system if you're stressed a lot. So there's a lot of reasons why people smoke. So we have the same thing with fast food and with processed food. We know that it's bad for us, but people are still doing it. The first problem is many people don't really understand that it's bad for us. There's a group of our population that doesn't know that fast food, that eating burgers and fries and soda drinks is actually doing them harm. So the first step we have to do is we need to educate our society. And that is fortunately now becoming more and more prominent. People are becoming aware. You're seeing programs on television where chefs are coming out and saying, you know, this isn't good for you. Comfort food is fantastic on, you know, a weekend or when you're celebrating your birthday, but you shouldn't be eating fatty comfort food all the time. You shouldn't be eating pie after every meal. It's great when it's your birthday and you want to celebrate and have some cake and ice cream, that's all right. But cake and ice cream every single day is not good for us. So, but those of us who do know, why do we still eat fast food, processed food?
It's fast.
I know that I do it. And it's something that I struggle with personally in my life. Well, these are the reasons that I thought it's convenient. First of all, it's accessible everywhere. If you are thirsty, it's easier to get a hold of a can of soda than it is a bottle of water. Because there are Coca-Cola machines everywhere, and they don't always have water as an option. If you're on the go and you stop at the gas station and you walk in, it's easier to find a Snickers bar than a banana at the convenience store. So, first of all, it's accessible everywhere. It saves time. You don't have to plan or think ahead because you know that if you're going to be on highway 75 and you stop, you're going to find something to eat. There's always going to be a hot dog and a bag of potato chips that you can eat. And it's immediate. You're tired, you're hungry, you just got off of work, you're heading home, you have to pick up the kids, you have to drop off the laundry, you have to return the movie. You don't have time to make a meal or even stop and sit down at a place that will make you a healthy meal. You need to just pick up something quick that you can eat in your car and be on your way. Also, it's inexpensive. The food industry has created a system where it's cheap to buy this cheap food. It's not only cheap in price, it's cheap in nutrition. But it's mass-produced. So that's why it's inexpensive. Although, I would say it's only inexpensive in the short term. Yes, you can get a hot dog for $1.50. And every day if you eat a hot dog for $1.50, in a year's time you could save $600, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in not eating a healthy salad and soup and good food. But what happens in the long run? You're going to be paying for huge expensive medical bills. Cancer treatment is not inexpensive, nor is it to have diabetes or a heart attack. So my question is, could we be so short-sighted? I can understand a 17-year-old not thinking about these things. But when we're 25, when we're 30, when we're 40, we should definitely be thinking about these things. It tastes good. The food industry has made a science of studying how our body works and what tastes good to us. Basically, the formula is if it's sweet or salty or fatty, it tastes good. And if we listen to Dr. Mehta's description of salad, it's those last three that are in very, very small proportions that he's talking about. He says very, very little sweet, just as a decoration on top. Salty also. And then fatty, he was talking about the nuts, the crunchy, where what's really important is the leafy part, fruits and vegetables, protein. So this taps into our primal survival instincts. It tastes good. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it is good. And I would also, like to challenge us and say, have you tried real, healthy, delicious organic broccoli? Or carrots? Or a real heirloom tomato? It's delicious. It's delicious. So healthy food can also be good. We are being misled daily by ads, by the media, by the government, by the medical community that bombard us with all of these contradicting recommendations. And at the end of the day, we don't know what is what. The example of the coconut oil. Is it good for us or is it not good for us? It wasn't 10 years ago, it is now. And 10 years from now, then they'll probably switch back and say it's not good for us. So this is difficult because we're constantly being bombarded. And that's why education is so important. We constantly need to be learning and be aware of what we... So if we want to eat healthy, we have to accept that we're swimming against not a regular current, but a raging current. The food industry is spending billions of dollars, not $1 million, not 10 million, not 100 million, billions of dollars to get us to eat processed foods. And so we are living in a society where eating healthy is not easy. We have to accept it. It's not easy. We're swimming against a raging current. So healthy food is not easily accessible. Healthy food is more expensive. When was the last time you went to Whole Foods and bought a cart full of only things stapled organic? It is not inexpensive. Let me tell you that. Most people don't know how to make a balanced, healthy, and delicious meal. That's part of the problem too. that you say, okay, well, organic carrots are healthy for you, organic broccoli is healthy for you, organic grapes are healthy for you. What do I do with all of that? You know, you can't eat an organic apple or carrot tastes delicious, but 5 apples for dinner is not appetizing. And eating carrots for breakfast, lunch, and dinner gets old very quickly. So we have to learn to combine all of these things and actually make balanced, healthy, and delicious meals that we want to eat. So that's going to take some time and energy as well. And we have to be convinced and focused on what we know is good for us and actively pursue it. So we have to be engaged. We can't take the back seat and be passive about this. So how do I battle against these giants all by myself? And when I talk about these giants, let's name them. The industry that's bombarding us with things, the medical community that tells us different things, but even the giants within. My hunger, my tiredness, my active and busy lifestyle. Those things are getting us to eat these fast foods that we shouldn't. So how do we battle against this? Well, one, we have to create an environment that works with us towards our goal. We know that we want to eat healthy. I have to create an environment around me that is going to help make this easier for me. And number 2, we have to be persistent and patient. The change is not going to happen overnight. And if you expect that, then you're starting a losing battle right away. Change takes time. We need to strengthen willpower, the willpower to be at a party where all of the food is garbage. It's chips and dips and, you know, they don't have any fruits, no nuts. The willpower to say, I'm just going to have a glass of water. And then you go home after the party and have a healthy meal. That takes willpower. And it's a muscle. We're going to learn about that in just a little bit. That we need to exercise, and through exercising this willpower, we'll form healthy habits that long-term will make it very easy to eat healthy. Because I've been doing this now for a while, for me it's tremendously easy to eat healthy. But if I went back 5 years, it wasn't as easy because I hadn't created an environment around me that made it easy for me. I hadn't created those habits. I hadn't exercised the willpower and gotten the knowledge I needed to. So, first we need to accept what we can't control. We can't expect to turn on the TV and not see ads about sodas and chips and pizza. Those are going to keep happening. We can't go to the supermarket and not expect at the checkout line to be bombarded with chocolate bars. That's going to happen. We can't expect to go over to dinner at our friends and have them make us organic meals. Some people do, some people don't. So there's a lot of things we can't control, and we have to just accept that. But we need to focus on what we can control. So let's take a look at what we can control. And I'm going to talk about 3 things, 3 environments that we can control, and that's going to be key in making healthy eating easier for us. Number 1 is we need to change our home environment. And basically that just means when you open up the fridge and when you open up the pantry, what is it that you find? Because if you open up the pantry and it's just lined up with bags of chips and granola bars and sweet cereals, it's disastrous. If it's there, you're going to eat it. I know it, because it's that way with me. If I bring home a bag of cookies thinking I'm going to eat one every other day, it doesn't work that way. I open it, and that first moment, I'll eat 5 cookies. And then I'll say, okay, willpower, I'm going to put it away. And then I'll sit at my computer, and then I'll get hungry again, and instead of reaching for an apple, I'll pull down the cookies. So don't bring home the cookies, or the ice creams, or the chips, all of this processed food. We need to make our home environment healthy for us. So if I am hungry at home, and I look at the fridge, I need to have options of healthy things to eat. I need to have fruits, and vegetables available. Find things that are healthy, yes?
How about healthy cookies like Kashi has these
Yes,
healthy type
Or
cookies?
whole food cookies, things like that.
absolutely. Those are healthier, but they're still a sweet. And so we need to see this as a dessert, not as a snack. So it's healthier. Instead of eating that healthy cookie, which is healthier than the non-healthy cookies, but it's not as healthy as eating a little bowl of nuts, for example, and seeds. Or having maybe half an apple and, you know, some nuts, or a slice of bread with some sliced cucumbers and tomatoes. So, of course, you know, there are degrees of what's healthy and not healthy, but we need to make our home environment easy for us to make those healthy choices. Our environment number 2 is plan and prepare your work environments. Know that you are going to get hungry. You're working. Of course you're going to get hungry. The biggest problem that people face is they say, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to not eat anything. It's impossible. Of course you're going to get hungry. Of course you have to eat. And so you're engaging in a losing battle. At work, you're going to get hungry. So don't go hungry. That's the worst thing you can do for yourself. Rather, plan and have healthy food to eat. So does that mean that you have to take lunch with you because all of your coworkers always say, let's go to Five Guys and get a burger? Or, you know, let's just order in pizza today. So does that mean that you have to plan ahead and bring your own lunch, or maybe stop on the way to work and get a salad or something? You know, so we need to plan, but also not just your lunch, but those snacks in between. You know, people are going to take a coffee break, you're going to have a meeting, and they're going to serve the donuts. That's going to happen. And you need to be prepared for that. And so you need to bring with you, you know, something that is going to be appealing to you, that is going to feel fulfilling and feed your hunger. But it's going to make it easy for you to choose the healthy choice. And I'm not saying never eat a donut. I don't believe in that. I think balance is important in life. But don't eat donuts every single time you have a meeting at work. You need to know yourself and judge and say, okay, I love donuts and I love eating them at meetings, so I'm just going to start with having one time and not the next, every other time. Maybe that's what's realistic for you to do. And then eventually, when that becomes easier, you think, oh, okay, I'm going to do it every third time. But you need to prepare your work environment so that you don't go hungry and make those bad choices. And then number 3 is you have to have a plan for these other eating situations when you go out to eat. So let's say that your family likes to go to the Cheesecake Factory. And the Cheesecake Factory has tons of options. Some of them are healthy, delicious, some of them less. You know, it's varying degrees. And so you need to know yourself and you need to have a plan. You need to go to the Cheesecake Factory with a plan in mind already. Because if you just go and you think, and you sit down and you look at the menu and you think, oh, I've got to choose something healthy, but then that steak with the deep fried onion rings looks so good, and you say, well, just today. Well, the problem is that we say just today, and tomorrow, and the day after. Whereas if you have a plan and you say, okay, I know that at the Cheesecake Factory they have some soups and salads which are very delicious and also healthy. I'm going to go with the soup and salad. Or I'm going to have, you know, the lean turkey something. You know, they have options. So, but go with a plan. Because if you're not ready, then, and you sit down, you're hungry because you're late and everybody was, and then you don't make the healthy choice. So we need to change the environment to make it easier for us. And then any social event where there will be food. You know, if some friends invite you to a picnic birthday party, or if you're going to dinner at some friends, make sure that you plan ahead. You know, call them up and say, I'm trying to eat healthier, I don't want to burden you. I'd just like to know, you know, what the menu is going to be, if I can maybe bring something like a salad as well. You know, do it in a kind and thoughtful way, but plan ahead so that you don't get there and all they have is fast processed food. Maybe if you're too embarrassed to call and ask, just bring a bowl of fruit. Just get some tangerines and some apples and some bananas and just bring it as a gift and say, you know, I thought that we could have this as well. Maybe a little snack before the dinner or something, so that you have options, but you need to plan ahead. Also, we need to learn to listen to our bodies. And I think a lot of us, we're too busy all the time to really know what's going on inside. And we need to learn that. I wanted to talk about the coffee catch-22. And it's, you know, Dr. Meadow was talking about caffeine. And the problem is, we feel we need that coffee, but the more we need it, the more our bodies learn to rely on it, the more we actually do need it. So the more coffee I drink, the more coffee I'm going to need to get through the day. I'm not saying that, you know, working hard isn't difficult. It is, of course. Waking up in the morning is not easy. I know it. And so the problem is we start relying on things like coffee as a crutch instead of realizing, oh, okay, well, why am I so tired in the morning? Maybe I didn't sleep so well. Well, that's the problem. So let's not just cover it up with 8 cups of coffee during the day. Let's really learn to listen to our bodies and what's going on and start addressing these problems. So most choices we make each day may feel like the product of well-considered decision, but they're not. They're habits. And this is where exercising that willpower and slowly making changes and creating these healthy habits comes into play. Though each habit means relatively little on its own, while each choice, I'm sorry, you're supposed to say choice there, means relatively little on its own, over time, the meals we order, what we bring home from the grocery store, the food we have at work, and how often we exercise has an enormous impact on our health, on our productivity, and on our happiness. So every single choice that we make every single day maybe doesn't seem so important, but it's in the big picture, in the long run, where we see that these little choices are important. And if we can make an environment that helps us make wiser choices, we turn that into a habit. And this habit, long term, has a very, very powerful effect. So there's an interesting study. It's called The Experiment of the Radishes and the Cookies. And it talks about willpower. So they take people and they put them in a room and they have a bowl of cookies and a bowl of radishes. And to some subjects, they say, you can eat as many radishes as you want, but please don't touch the cookies. And to other subjects, they say, you can eat all the cookies you want, but please don't touch the radishes. So this is an experiment in willpower. The people who go into the room, they sit them down in front of the table for 15 minutes, they close the door, these people think they're alone, and they've been given an instruction to either ignore the cookies or ignore the radishes. The people who are told to ignore the cookies are having to exercise their willpower. Some of them don't eat them, but they pick them up and they smell them, and they put it back. The people who are told not to touch the radishes but eat the cookies aren't exercising their willpower at all. They sit down, they eat one cookie, it's pretty good. They look around the room, they get hungry again, they eat another cookie. At the end of the 15 minutes, maybe they've eaten all the cookies, or maybe 3 or 4, doesn't matter, but they're not exercising willpower. First part of the experiment. Second part of the experiment, they bring them in a little word puzzle task that is actually impossible to solve. It's an impossible task to solve. So again, they're challenging people in their willpower. So they say, now you're gonna sit here for 15 minutes and you're gonna work on this puzzle. It's pretty simple. If you get done before, just ring this bell and let us know. But the truth is, none of them are gonna be done in those 15 minutes. The people who've already exercised their willpower and had to say no to the cookies and no to the cookies, their willpower is already drained, already tired. So they start on this puzzle and they can't stay focused. Maybe they try it once and they fail, and so their willpower is already tired, and so they push it away and they say, this stupid exercise, I can't solve it. The people who didn't have to tire out their willpower and ate all the cookies they wanted, sit down and they work on this impossible task for 15 minutes without giving up. So willpower is a finite daily resource. As you go through your day, you have a certain amount of willpower that you can exercise that day. And if you come across some difficulty, like a child that isn't listening to you and misbehaving, and you have to exercise your willpower to be patient and calm and instruct this child in the right way, then you've let out some of your willpower. And then you have some emails that are, maybe a coworker sent you a nasty email and you have to exercise willpower in responding in a kind and understanding way, but still being firm and telling them your point of view. So you've exercised your willpower. By the end of the day, when you get home at 6 o'clock and you say, I'm supposed to go running, you have no willpower left. Or I'm going to make myself a healthy soup, you don't have any willpower. You're hungry, you're tired, your willpower is gone, and so you make that bad choice. So, but they've just like they've done that study, they've also done studies where the more you exercise your willpower and say no to that cookie today, and no to that cookie 2 days from now, and no to that cookie, it becomes easier. You get more willpower strength. It's like a muscle. So, we have to understand that our bodies require transition periods, that changes can't be made from one day to another, that it takes time for a lasting change to occur. So slowly but surely we need to change our environment to make it easy for us to make healthy choices. We have to exercise willpower on a regular basis and build up that muscle, and over time that's going to create habits that's going to make healthy eating easy for us. We have to make choosing healthy easy and turn it with time into a habit. So this is my company. We make healthy vegetarian lunches, which makes it easy for you to choose and get a healthy meal at work. So that's one of the things I do. And this is our website, Cancer Prevention and Recovery. So there's always information, and then under events you can go and see our previous classes and lectures and our guest speakers, testimonies, so that you can get, if you've missed any of our previous classes or lectures, you can
Do you have a
catch
little
them.
card?
I do,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.